How many times have you heard the same tired takes about Shedeur Sanders? How many times have analysts, critics, and keyboard warriors insisted that he was not accurate enough, not ready enough, not the right guy for the Cleveland Browns? The narrative has been loud, persistent, and frankly relentless since before Shedeur Sanders even took his first official NFL snap. But something significant happened on day one of voluntary minicamp that every single one of those doubters needs to sit with very carefully, because Shedeur Sanders did not walk onto that field looking for comfort or adjustment time. He walked onto that field and delivered an 80% completion rate in 11-on-11 work on the very first day of organized team activity, and that number is not a small thing. That number is a statement, and today we are going to break down every single element of what happened, what it means, and why the Cleveland Browns 2025 season is shaping up to be one of the most compelling stories in the entire league. Before we get into the throws, the numbers, and the coaching decisions, it is important to understand exactly what voluntary minicamp represents in the structure of the NFL offseason, because a significant portion of casual observers dismiss it as glorified jogging in shorts. That dismissal is a mistake, and it could not be further from the truth about what actually takes place during these sessions. Voluntary minicamp is the first real organized football environment where a quarterback can be evaluated with any genuine seriousness. It is where you see mindset, preparation, and the quality of a player's off-season work reflected in real time. Has he been in the film room? Has he been throwing consistently? Has he been doing the disciplined, unglamorous work when no cameras were around and no crowds were watching? All of that shows up on day one of voluntary minicamp, and it shows up clearly for anyone paying attention. For most quarterbacks, the opening day of these sessions is about shaking off rust, getting comfortable with teammates again, re-establishing timing with receivers, and slowly ramping back up to competitive football intensity. The standard expectation is that a young quarterback, particularly one entering his first real full season as a starter, would need time to find his rhythm. Shedeur Sanders threw that expectation directly out the window. He did not come to minicamp to ease back in. He came to prove a point, and new Cleveland Browns head coach Todd Monken gave him every opportunity to do exactly that by giving him 11-on-11 reps on the very first day. That decision alone is worth paying attention to, because coaches do not hand their most important player full competitive reps on day one of voluntary minicamp unless they have complete confidence in what that player is capable of delivering. Let us talk specifically about that 80% completion rate, because the number alone does not capture the full picture of how impressive the performance actually was. In 11-on-11 work, there are real defenders operating in real coverage schemes. There is a live pass rush creating genuine pressure on the quarterback. The situations are as close to actual game speed as you can get outside of a preseason contest. Completing 80% of your passes in that environment, on the first day back from the offseason, is not a routine accomplishment. It is elite-level production by any honest measure. What made the number even more meaningful was the type of completions Shedeur Sanders was making. This was not a carefully managed performance built on dump-offs to the running back or safe, short throws designed to pad completion percentage artificially. Shedeur was operating with full regular season aggression. He was pushing the ball down the field, attacking coverage, and throwing with the confidence of a quarterback who had not missed a single day of mental or physical preparation during the offseason. That continuity of performance between the end of last season and the opening day of minicamp is one of the clearest indicators of a quarterback who has genuinely put in the work when nobody was watching. Young quarterbacks who struggle with off-season preparation almost always show it in the early organized team activities. The hesitation creeps in. The mechanics get a little loose. The decision-making slows down slightly. None of that was present in Shedeur Sanders' game on day one, and that matters enormously for how we should evaluate his trajectory heading into the 2025 season. To understand why day one looked the way it did, you have to spend time examining what Todd Monken's arrival as head coach of the Cleveland Browns actually means for Shedeur Sanders. The transition from Kevin Stefanski to Todd Monken is not a cosmetic change. It is a foundational shift in the environment being built around the quarterback, and the early evidence suggests it is exactly the kind of shift that can transform a talented young player into an elite one. The history of the NFL is full of examples of quarterbacks who looked inconsistent or limited under one system and then became completely different players the moment the right coaching relationship clicked into place. The right head coach does not just draw up plays. He builds trust. He communicates in a way that makes his quarterback feel genuinely supported and challenged at the same time. He creates a culture where the quarterback's development is treated as the organizational priority it should be, and every decision made around the program reflects that commitment. From everything visible on day one, Shedeur Sanders and Todd Monken have established exactly that kind of relationship. Watch how Shedeur moved during practice sessions and you notice something beyond just good throws. There was a looseness, a natural confidence that went beyond technical execution. He was communicating freely with his receivers between reps, processing at high speed, and playing with a genuine energy that is impossible to manufacture in a situation where a player feels uncertain or unsupported. That comfort level comes directly from the head coach and the culture being built from the top of the organization. Shedeur Sanders described the new coaching staff after practice in direct terms, saying they embrace you as a person first and then push you every single day in the film room, on the field, and in the weight room. That quote is not just a pleasant locker room soundbite. It describes the specific structure of the development environment Todd Monken has built around his quarterback, and it explains the on-field performance we witnessed on day one. Here is where the Todd Monken story becomes genuinely extraordinary, and it is a detail that deserves far more attention than it has received in the broader football conversation. Monken arrived at day one of voluntary minicamp with cameras installed directly on the helmets of his quarterbacks during practice sessions. These were not cameras for social media content or broadcast highlight packages. They were deployed for one specific analytical purpose, so that Monken and his coaching staff could study exactly what Shedeur Sanders sees as he scans the field before delivering the football. That means they can observe his eye movement in real time, identify which receiver he reads first, understand which coverage rotations he is identifying pre-work, track how quickly he processes complex defensive information, and pinpoint precisely where his eyes travel before he releases the ball. This is cutting-edge developmental technology being used specifically to accelerate the growth of a young franchise quarterback. A coaching staff that installs helmet cameras on day one of voluntary minicamp is not going through the motions of quarterback development. They are engineering it with the kind of precision and commitment that separates organizations that develop quarterbacks from organizations that simply hope their quarterbacks develop. For Shedeur Sanders, who already processes the game at an exceptionally high level according to evaluators who watched him throughout college, this detailed real-time feedback loop compresses the learning curve dramatically. When a quarterback can sit down after practice and watch film of the game from his own visual perspective, the growth that would normally take an entire season can happen in weeks. Todd Monken is not simply coaching Shedeur Sanders. He is systematically engineering the development of a franchise quarterback using every tool and resource available to him, and the fact that this investment started on day one of voluntary minicamp communicates everything you need to know about the level of organizational commitment behind this project. If there is a single on-field element that captures the imagination of scouts, coaches, and fans more than anything else, it is the deep ball. And during the long throw portion of day one practice, Shedeur Sanders delivered a performance that had everyone on the practice field buzzing. The arm talent has never been seriously in question for those who watched Shedeur perform at the college level. But seeing it executed with that level of precision and consistency in an NFL practice environment, dropping the ball into the hands of a receiver running a deep route with perfect touch and the right trajectory, is the kind of proof that moves the conversation from potential to reality. The deep ball he threw was not just powerful. It was accurate in the specific way that separates quarterbacks who can throw it far from quarterbacks who can throw it far and put it exactly where the receiver catches it in stride without adjusting his route or contorting his body awkwardly. The touch on the throw was precise. The ball left his hand with the correct arc, held its line through the air, and arrived exactly where it needed to be for the receiver to catch it in full stride. The receiver did not slow down. He did not have to reach back or adjust. He made a clean catch because the throw was clean. That is the standard that separates good deep balls from elite deep balls, and Shedeur Sanders met that standard on day one of minicamp. Then came the throw that capped the entire session. The left side touchdown pass. Shedeur lined up, scanned the left side of the field with quick, sharp eyes, identified his receiver coming open in coverage, and delivered the football with authority directly into his hands. The receiver caught it cleanly and took it to the touchdown line. The mechanics on the throw were textbook from start to finish: the scan, the release, the placement, the timing, and the fact that it came at the end of a full practice session, when fatigue begins to affect both mechanics and decision-making in most quarterbacks, made it even more significant. After practice concluded, Shedeur Sanders met with the media, and the message he delivered off the field matched the statement he had already made on it. He spoke about Todd Monken and the new coaching staff with genuine enthusiasm, describing the environment they have built as something meaningfully different from what he had experienced before. He was direct about what the new staff brings to the relationship between coach and player. Then he shifted and addressed the narrative around him directly. Shedeur Sanders told the media and the broader audience of critics to change the negative narrative to a positive one. He said it calmly. He was not angry or reactive. He was clear. If you are a Cleveland Browns fan who genuinely wants this team to succeed in 2025, you support your quarterback rather than spending energy contributing to a negative environment around him. That message carries real weight because the negative narrative around Shedeur Sanders did not develop organically from watching him play bad football. It developed from a media culture that seemed to have a predetermined conclusion about him before the evidence was in. Critics who invested heavily in the take that he was not an NFL-caliber quarterback now face the reality of what happened on day one of voluntary minicamp: 80% completions, a deep ball clinic, a perfectly executed touchdown strike, and a coaching staff deploying innovative developmental technology specifically to maximize his growth. Shedeur Sanders did not respond to those critics from a place of insecurity. The calm, measured, direct tone of his post-game media session was the tone of a player who knows exactly who he is, knows exactly what he is capable of, and has long since stopped needing external validation to stay focused on the work. When you step back from the individual moments and evaluate the full picture of what day one of voluntary minicamp revealed, the implications for the Cleveland Browns' 2025 season are significant. The foundation being built in Cleveland right now is being built correctly, and that is not a statement made loosely. The right quarterback is in place. The right head coach is in place. The organizational commitment to developing Shedeur Sanders into a franchise-level quarterback is documented, visible, and already being acted upon with genuine creativity and investment. Helmet cameras on day one. Full 11 on 11 reps from the opening session. A head coach who communicates openly and builds genuine trust with his quarterback. These are not small details. These are the markers of a program that is being built with intention and seriousness. Shedeur Sanders arrives at this season with a chip on his shoulder that was placed there by every analyst who dismissed him, every take that undervalued his ability, and every narrative that positioned him as anything less than a legitimate NFL starting quarterback. That chip is fuel, and the performance on day one of voluntary minicamp is early evidence of exactly how he plans to use it. He is not attacking the doubters with words. He is attacking them one precise, aggressive, well-placed throw at a time, and if the opening day of minicamp is an accurate baseline, the Cleveland Browns and their fans have every legitimate reason to approach the 2025 season with real excitement and genuine belief. The storyline surrounding this team entering 2025 is genuinely one of the most compelling in the NFL. A young quarterback carrying significant external pressure. A new head coach building an innovative developmental environment from scratch. A fan base hungry for something authentic to believe in after extended frustration. And at the center of all of it, Shedeur Sanders, who showed up on day one of voluntary minicamp and made everyone in that building understand exactly what kind of player they are working with. If this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what is happening in Cleveland and what the Shedeur Sanders story means for the Browns heading into 2025, hit that like button right now. It directly supports the channel and helps this content reach more Browns fans and NFL viewers who need to see it. And if you are not already subscribed, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single breakdown as the Shedeur Sanders story continues to develop through training camp, preseason, and into the regular season. Every major moment, every key performance, every development in the Cleveland Browns' 2025 campaign, we will be here covering all of it.